Alright, this is Wehrkind here. I was asked to post a video about some of the kind of the bones that were looking a little spongy. The infamous Wehrkind Spongy Factor, which is fantastic. Looking at it, yeah, spongy probably isn't quite the word. I know some of the guys at the PP forums had complained about that a bit. Rubbery is probably a better way to go, though I'm not sure. Wehrkind Rubbery Factor makes me sound any less like Bob Dole, so we'll run with spongy for now. So I got 3 models here as an example. The one I've been playing around with here is the, you'll have to excuse the fact that I'm completely awkward here. I'm on the other side of the camera and, yeah, kind of like working in a mirror. But anyway, this is the one of the drow characters. I'm going to be looking mostly at her right arm there with the dagger. Not the dagger itself, mind you, just the right arm. Here is one of the, I don't know, half-demon or tiefling or something. Looking at his sword blade is what we'll be talking about. And then we have, for the control group, for the not quite so spongy, we have what hopefully is recognizable as one of the little mummy dudes. I don't know, it's got some sword or something. So to kind of demonstrate that we're talking like to like here, I'm going to got my handy calipers here. And I'm going to measure as best I can, without doing this in a mirror, that each of these parts is right at about 1/16 of an inch. Yeah, sorry for the focus. After all that time looking for the camera, not really paying off. And you can see that all the bits are roughly about that size. Like her arm on all points is actually slightly thicker in all dimensions. And then this guy's sword is pretty much exactly the same. So we're all talking within a hair of 1/16 of an inch, or a little bit thicker. So, you know, just try to avoid any arguments of, oh well, you know, whatever, that part's real thin or whatever. They're all about the same. As a testing thing here, I'm going to be using one of these clay shapers. This is the number 2 Angle Chisel Extra Firm Clay Shaper by Royal Sovereign Limited UK. Extra firm's a little bit of a misnomer. It's really pretty spongy on the end. Enough so, no, sorry, rubbery, soft, that, you know, it bends pretty well, not a lot of pressure. If you ever use these things, the softer ones, even these extra firm, they're maybe a little bit less than you want to use for green stuff half the time. I was going to use a paintbrush, but that's really hard to tell because the bristles move around, so I guess, but this should be pretty consistent. So, first I want to show with the normal guy, or at least what I'm taking to be normal, most of them seem to be about this resiliency, what that looks like. I tend to put tip on here and bend it a little bit, try to show you it from the side. I'm trying to use just about the, well, I'll give you about a 1/16 of an inch of the tip, so you can see when it flexes out of the way. Again, sorry if this is a little bit awkward to see. Kind of, I assure you it's very awkward to do in the camera. So you see, there's not really a huge amount of give before it snaps past. It bends the shaper out of the way pretty quickly, and you just don't get a whole lot of flex out of this piece before it overpowers the shaper. Now let's check out our little half-demon guy here. And you see you get a ton of give. I mean, it bends enough that the shaper doesn't even flex, but gets away from it, almost as if it was a completely rigid piece. Let's try to get that from another angle. You see him just kind of putting on a little bit, and you can get that thing pushed down pretty much directly, you know, in a U shape. Enough that it's almost awkward to hold the shaper to be completely on the same plane as it. So that's real flexy. And then this girl's arm, I'm going to go actually just inside the dagger here. You can see that the tip of the dagger is pretty flexy, obviously. I mean, it's tiny, that makes sense. But here, you can see that it really, you can bend that away as pretty much as far as you want. A little awkward to get a hold of because it's so curvy in places, but you can, you know, that thing goes all over. Now I do want to say, I mean, it's probably, you know, it's probably paintable. I'm sure that I could, you know, muddle through it and such, whatever. It's not going to be that a huge big deal. It's not like I'm trying to mash your paintbrush down on these sort of things. But it's weird that it's inconsistent like that. I mean, you have 3 models, 2 of which have pretty much the exact same sword and thickness and everything. One's super flexy, one's not. That's kind of weird. Another thing I kind of noticed though is that it's been about 2 weeks since I unboxed this and kind of noticed the problem, and the some of them seem to have gotten a little bit more rigid. I'm wondering if maybe they've been curing a little bit more as time goes on. I mean, they've been sitting in my basement now at about 65, 70 degrees for 2.5 weeks. So maybe the hot temperatures made them softer, then they're kind of slowly becoming more rigid as they adjust to a lower temperature. I don't know. Maybe, I know with resins, sometimes whenever you have them, if you pour the resin in the mold before the mold's fully done curing, some of the alcohol left over in the mold as it cures prevents the resin from fully curing. So maybe something like that happened here. They just, they're trying to push stuff out too fast, and a few things didn't fully cure. I don't know. I got no idea. But that's the video showing what I'm talking about. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. Thanks.